Hi kiddos, today we are going to be setting up our reading notebook and talking about workshop expectations and what will go inside the reading notebook. The materials that you are going to need are your reading notebook that should already have the label on the front cover, crayons, glue stick, pair of scissors, possibly, we might not need that, a pencil, and your anchor binder that has your green ELA resources folder inside. Remember, you are not to take out the folder from your anchor binder. I just wanted to make sure that you could see what color we were looking at today. So I'm going to move some of my materials off to the side until I need them. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to open up our reader's notebook like we did with our math notebook. The first lined page is going to be our cover page. So once again, you can take out a colored crayon. Doesn't matter what color, but then you are going to write your name, not Mrs. Ling's name, your own name. Make sure you have an apostrophe S to show possession. This is your notebook. And then you're going to write reading notebook. That way we can always identify who this notebook belongs to. Once you're done, you're going to go ahead and turn the page, which is your title page, over to the back. And we are going to set this up for our table of contents. So I'm going to go ahead and write table of contents in the top white space. I'm going to underline it. And just like we did with our math notebook, there is a faint red line that you can barely see, but it helps us keep ourselves with a margin. I'm going to write the word date. That way we can keep track of the days that we do mini lessons and refer back to it as needed. Now we're going to put a page number. So this is our first page, so I'm going to put page 1. The next page, all I'm doing is putting a 2 in the top right corner. I'm going to turn that page that I just marked a 2, look at the back of it, and put a 3. And then the last page I'm going to do is page 4. Because we just labeled some pages to keep blank until we need them, I'm going to go back to my original table of contents page. Today we are going to be inserting 2 pages into our reading notebook. So I need to remember what page I ended on so I can make sure that my numbers are lining up. So on page 5, I'm going to then make sure I remember that the numbers are the pages. Number 5 is going to be all about reading workshop. And we always place the title of our page on the table of contents. Today's date is 8-20-20. And the second page we're going to insert is going to be page 6. And this is going to help us remember what our reader's notebook is going to have inside. So I write my second title underneath, making sure that I'm very neat with my words so they don't go into the wrong line. And once again, put the correct date to make sure we remember when we completed this lesson. Now that we have our table of contents all set up, we're going to get the pages we need. So once again, you're going to have your anchor binder. Don't take the green folder out of side of the anchor binder, just open it up. You're going to look on the left side where it says Reading Resources. You should see that you have a paper clip of a bunch of our mini lesson teach pages that we'll be using in the next couple weeks. You are going to take the one that says Reader's Notebook and the one that says All About Reading Workshop. The rest of the teach pages need to stay paper clipped inside your green pocket, and then close your anchor binder and put that off to the side. We have our 2 sheets that we're going to be using, so I need to remember that I'm looking for pages 5 and 6. So I turn my pages past the table of contents pages, before I do any kind of gluing down, I'm going to label the pages in the top corners. So this page on the left will be page 5. Page 6 is going to be on the right, and I place that in the top corner. Now, when I looked at my table of contents, I can see that I had, and I can double check just to make sure, all about reading workshop is first. So I'm going to glue the teach page, that is the corresponding title with the page number, and the reading notebook title with the page number. So this is when you need your glue stick. Go ahead and once again glue all the way around like a frame, and then give it an X throughout the middle. Turn it over, make sure it's nice and smooth. Then do the same thing with the right side, the reading notebook page. Put a frame of glue stick around, then crisscross through the middle, and then place that down as well. So we're going to be looking at the left page first, the All About Reading Workshop. So in our 4th grade classrooms, we use Reading Workshop, which is an approach to how we teach ELA standards. So typically we will have a mini lesson that is teaching a strategy, a skill that we're reviewing on how to become a better reader. And then we will be using our notebook to keep track of some notes, important details that we need to make sure that we're remembering as we're doing our reading. And then we will then have some time to do some independent reading, and then we will do some conferring as well to see what we're working on and what are some goals that we will have for ourselves. So we're going to go through the reading workshop, the 3 sections that I just spoke about. So we're going to go ahead and fill in some blanks. So it says reading workshop will take place, and there's a blank. The word that's missing is this is going to take place every day. So go ahead and fill in that blank with the correct word. This will be the structure we use to help us become better readers. The next part says, what are the parts of reading workshop? So we have 3 parts of reading workshop, so we're going to number them. The first part, the most important part, the part that we use our reading notebook for, is the mini lesson. It says during the mini lesson, students will learn a new, and then it says a blank. This is going to be when we learn a new reading skill. So fill in that first blank with the word reading. Reading skill, or, and the next word is strategy. And then you can put a period because that sentence ends. The teacher will model this skill or strategy using a book and give students an opportunity to try, or to blank. The blank is the word practice. So go ahead and fill that word in. With each other before they try it on their own. The second part of reading workshop, so we put a number 2. This is when you're applying the new skill or strategy. So part 2 says independent reading time. During independent reading time, students will be given an opportunity to blank. This word again is the word practice. So it says to practice one of the reading skills or strategies they were taught during the mini lesson. They will spend time, well, if we're practicing reading, well, we have to say we will spend time reading. Reading goes in the first blank, and we need to also spend time writing. So writing is in the next blank. So it says they will spend time reading and writing about their reading. The third part, after we've done our conferring, we will have our third and final step to our reading workshop. This is called our closing and share time. During the closing, everyone comes, is the blank word, comes, and then squeeze in the next word, comes back to the carpet, and students will get an opportunity to, and the word is share, that we fill in the blank, to share what they worked on during their independent reading time. So because we're doing e-learning, it's going to look a little bit different because we're not coming back to a carpet, But when we start doing our live lessons, when we come back to speak about the strategy or skill we're working on during our independent reading, this will be an opportunity to share what we've noticed as readers or things that we are going to make for a goal for ourselves for the next day. And it says the best way to become a better reader is to practice every day. I love that they're saying that because it is so important for us to understand that we aren't oftentimes a pro right away. We have to take some practice time to get better at all of these skills that we're working on in class. So those are just some outlines of the activities that will be taking place in our reading workshop. And now we're going to look at what does it mean to have a reader's notebook. The reader's notebook is going to be important just like our math notebook because it's going to house all of our important information. So once again, we're going to use this teach page to keep track of some important information for us. So it says a reader's notebook is a great way to keep track of everything you are learning in reading workshop. So we're going to underline keep track of everything. So this is a great place to keep yourself organized and refer back to. You can keep all your thoughts about reading in one. We're going to put a box around that word one and underline organized with 3 lines. Mrs. Ling loves when we practice getting organized because we're able to find our resources quickly and then we can use them in the future as well. The next part is going to take some writing down. So as I'm writing, if you need a little bit more time to finish one of the statements, remember you can pause the video and come back to it. So inside my reader's notebook, the first statement is write down my reading goals, and keep track of which ones I've accomplished. The second I can keep a list of books I've read. The third thing we can do in a reading notebook, we can write down notes. That you've learned. And then the last thing that we can do in our reading notebook is to write down our thoughts. So write down my thoughts or questions I have while reading. So as I said, we're going to be keeping information that we're using to learn strategies and skills that we need to work on as a reader, but we're also going to keep track of questions or thoughts that we might have during our independent reading time that we might need to bring back during our closing and share time to see if we can get ourselves some answers. The last part of this teach page is my reader's notebook is, and then on the flip side, what is it not? So we're going to start with what it is. So we're going to jot down some ideas. The first one is it's organized. We're going to have a very specific order to keep our pages in. We're going to number those pages and keep everything on track in our table of contents. The next thing that we're going to write is it's used every day. We want to make sure that this is our own book that we are creating with our new learning so we can refer to it to see what we've learned and then we can use it in the future. The third is it's purposeful. It is not meant to be used and then you never open it again. And the final one, it's a reflection of our learning. So a reflection of learning. So when you leave fourth grade, you're going to have so many interactive notebooks that we've used for science and math and reading and grammar. You have 4 of them that you can then say, this is all the information that I've learned throughout fourth grade. And then when you get to fifth grade, you can refer back to some of the skills that you have worked on. My reading notebook, it is not disorganized. So you are not to just glue on any page. It doesn't have a rhyme or reason. You make sure that you follow the directions in our videos. It's not forgotten about. It is not only used to list books. And it's not a waste of time. So today you have 2 pages that we finished together. We went over the expectations of the 3 sections of our reading workshop that we will use in the classroom and on e-learning. We also talked about how we will be using this interactive reader's notebook to keep track and organize our strategies and skills that we are learning to be better readers. Make sure you rewatch the video if you need to double check that you have the correct words written down, or if you need to write the statements again.